Hi, my name's Elijah. Right now, I'm making my first video. I'm kind of stuck in traffic. It's creeping. I decided I want to make YouTube videos on how to help people and help people with issues and whatever it may be. Life issues, maybe in part a couple of life hacks or whatever they can to help somebody. So, a little background here. I've been a manager for a long time. And I've been able to help people with lots of issues. And people have said I've been very good at it. Some people even predicted I would be doing this like on a stage in a seminar. I was like, well, that's a big leap from where I'm at the point. But I realized I've done it for hundreds and hundreds of people where I gave them great advice. And it was always something they never thought of. And it was always something they could build off of and take and say, I can use this. Even with strangers, perfect strangers I've met, and they've, turned their life around or moved them in the right direction. I'll give you an example. There was a guy I met at a bar. I was after work just drinking. Never met him before. Just talking, just how people normally do. They know, well, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Yada, yada, yada. So, some kind of way he got to a point where he thought he was at this level and he would never get to the next level. I asked him why. He told me, I can't remember the reason. Then I gave him some advice. I wish I could remember the specifics on this, but I gave him advice, and he wound up, I saw him 6 months later, he wound up saying, hey, I moved up 2 levels based on what you told me that day. I said, really? So he took advice from somebody he had only met like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We only had a couple beers, and it helped him and improved his life. So the one thing I can take away from all these little experiences being a manager, helping strangers, like that guy, is that I have a skill to listen and see both sides of an issue and give people advice that they never thought of. So a lot of times I'll point out something that somebody hasn't been, like people tend to do this. They only see something from their side, their point of view only. And sometimes helping them out, you have to have them look at the other side of it, of the issue, to get them to understand the best way to handle a situation. And I'm good at doing that. I'm very objective. That's what really made me a great manager, I guess. So with that being said, I think my first video, the first thing that I want to put out there is, it's your focus. So if you have your focus in the right area, you tend to be moving in the right direction. Whatever direction you determine is the right direction. And that's different for everybody. So, for instance, if something bad happens, say you have a car accident, you can focus all day long about the car accident and get mad about the car accident, but all that's going to drain you because there's not much you can do about unchanging a car accident. It's already happened. You can't do anything with it. But if you change your focus to all the other things that you need to beyond that car accident, what can you do next? What can you will start building and figuring out a way that moves you past that car accident and minimizes the impact of the car accident. There's some other issues that could complicate a car accident, why it could be a big deal. Whether you got hurt or not. But just aside from that, if you focus is completely on something that's negative, all that will do is drain you of energy. And typically, it will make you spiral down into thinking about more negative stuff, which will spiral down to probably at some point getting to depression. And you'll link other negative stuff together that are unrelated. So if you have a car accident and then something else happens, you'll link the car accident and that together, even though they're unrelated. But if you change your focus, it doesn't mean that if something negative happens, you have to ignore it completely. It's just that you have to acknowledge it and say, you know what, I have to move on. Here are the things that are good. My wife is fantastic, my kids are great, yada yada, I got a great job, or whatever. Just your positive aspects in your life and focus on those and what you can do to make those better. Will minimize those negative things, but it also keep it on a general level of happiness, to keep it even keel too. So it's always your focus that is important. So with that said, it's a simple attitude, but I think if you make your focus about positive stuff, you'll see that more positive things happen to you. What really happens is not more positive things are happening to you. It's that when you focus on positive stuff, you recognize all the other positive stuff that's going for you. But when you're negative, focus on negative stuff, you don't recognize the positive stuff that's going for you. You just recognize all the negative stuff. So I would say the very first thing I would want most people that are looking to change something in life, focus on the positive stuff. Take that and build on it with small baby steps. Focus on the positive.